Angela says that her reason for competing is to inspire, motivate, and effect positive changes in the lives of those who are born differently abled and those who suffer serious trauma in their lives. Please join me in welcoming Angela Madsen.
All right, yeah, the lunchtime group. At least it's not like after lunch when everyone is like comatose. Everyone's still kind of like alive and yeah, I've been on our National Adaptive Rowing Team. I run a rowing program in the city of Long Beach. I teach other people who are disabled with mobility impairments and intellectual disabilities how to row. I've been doing it for about 10 years. I'm also a disabled veteran, life member of Disabled American Veterans, 5-term, 2-year term board member at California Paralyzed Veterans of America. So since I began accessorizing with the wheelchair, I've had a career in athletics that's been pretty positive and spanned a decade. In 2007, after following Tori Murden, who is a female solo ocean rower who volunteers at the Louisville Adaptive Rowing Program, after following her for 2 years and thinking that I would never be able to row across an ocean, the opportunity presented itself for me to do just that. Joe Le Guin put an ad in the Amputee Coalition of America. He was looking for a male amputee to row across the Atlantic Ocean. And I'm neither, but I responded to his ad. And when he looked to one side saying, well, you're a woman, and I just looked him at the eyes in the eyes and said, so what? And then when he said, well, you're not a man, I don't know how that would work on the boat. I just, looked him back in the eyes and said, so what? And then he Google searched my name and saw that I had done, and he decided to fly out to California with Frank Fester, and I took them rowing and I took them surfing, and he says, oh yeah, you can do the job. So in 2006, we were supposed to row together in a 4 going across the North Atlantic, but that program, we couldn't get off the ground into the starting block. So what I decided to do was get a pairs boat, and I asked Frank if he would row with me across the Atlantic, and he said yes. He's a Frenchman, and he doesn't speak any English, and I don't speak any French. So it was as close to going solo as I could get, and it was through Joe Le Guin that Frank and I were introduced. So a lot of you haven't heard about it because basically nobody believed that I could do it. So no one would back me financially. I couldn't get sponsors. I pretty much had to do it on my own. I surfed too. I sold some of my surfboards. I took a roommate, rented out a room in my house, pinched pennies, cut a lot of financial support to my 3 granddaughters, sent them cards instead of gifts. Basically just for 2 years to the budget to row across an ocean to buy one of these boats, get all your dehydrated supplies and all that stuff is about $150,000. And I was only able to raise about 5 of it. The rest of it was my own money, which I'm still paying. But anyway, so that's how Frank and I got together for this row. And so right now what I'm going to show you guys is a little PowerPoint presentation. Kind of goes through a little bit of my history. I was athletic all my life, pretty much. Tall one in the back middle. I was a spiker. That's the 70s. That's actually a really fun sport. You get to check people into the walls and steal the puck. So I've been able to do everything that I did before, and then some. Obviously, I've got to try a lot of new things, too. Technology, there's all kinds of things for us to do and try. It's a two-piece surfboard. It's about the size of a massage table. I can put it on the foot plate of my wheelchair and travel anywhere in the world I want to go surfing independently. That's a new way of getting through the sand. Once my braces come off, I can't really do too much of that. But I surf on my knees. I can do cutbacks, floaters, re-entries. I do hang 2 instead of hang 10. So. That's not my car, but it's a really nice car. We live in Southern California, so this is the this is the rowing program in the smaller boats that I use in the California Adaptive Rowing Program to teach. This is an indoor rowing machine right here. We have pontoons on the outriggers so that the boats aren't as tippy. We can put fixed seats in the boats for people who can't use their legs and leave the sliding seats in for those who can. We have a lot of autistic kids in our program, Down syndrome. Basically, anyone can row. We have higher level quadriplegics that can row. It's a great sport for rehab. It's just great to be out of the wheelchair and on the water. We also row all year long in Southern California, and we can always use volunteers. We teach our volunteers to row so that we have people that can row in a double with visual impaired people, or to work as guide boats for them. This is my van when I had a vehicle wrap on it. That was training in the 4 with Joe Le Guin. I've actually rowed across 2 oceans now, the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean. I've been all over the world talking to kids about rowing, taking a survival at sea course. Finding a location to take the course was nearly impossible because everyone sight unseen would say, well, we're not going to allow a person in a wheelchair to take this course because it's physically demanding. You have to be able to get into a survival suit in less than a minute while they're sinking your boat. And they thought that I would never be able to do it, obviously. I proved them wrong.